People perceive Tech City to be Old Street Roundabout and Shoreditch, and when you go back to the original government definition, it was King's Cross to the Royal Docks, and now more broadly is just tech is distributed across London. So it's very hard to think of it as a district or a small place. London is punching above its weight and is measuring up very well against certainly New York, and to an extent the Valley. It's the biggest cluster in Europe, and is leading the world in fintech. You look at what Imperial are doing, and Stanhope and Mitsui over at the old BBC building at White City, the whole kind of tech media regeneration around White City, and then the Tech City stuff that's happening in Croydon, the incredible regeneration at King's Cross that's now Knowledge Quarter with 50-something institutions that make up a world-leading research and science base. And then the East London story we know that isn't just Shoreditch, but the Olympic Park legacy, what Canary Wharf are doing, what's happening out at ABP and Greenwich and the Royal Docks. This is a London story. I think what we're seeing is an increased appetite for freelancer space, and that's not the same as co-working, and it's not the same as accelerator space, but corporates who are saying we want the ability to pull on more freelance consultants, less kind of salary overhead, but the ability to have swing space within our corporate real estate or nearby. So it does play into the co-working service agenda a bit. Telefonica did this really well, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that, particularly if there's a downturn, that the ability to augment teams without taking them on permanently is a trend that corporates will pursue, particularly as London gets more expensive. So investment more on the periphery, grade B, grade A minus, investment in strong dominant tech clusters in the UK. Manchester is already accelerating, Bristol, Cambridge, Oxford, Edinburgh. So we're seeing investor appetite to move into those markets, and that's classically cyclical. It's this sense of you're not always in the beehive, that you fly in and out but keep docking in, and we think that's how people are behaving. When you look at desk occupancy, if you're lucky, it's about 40%. And so companies are being much more cost conscious and talent conscious, and so if you move towards activity-based working and create a range of environments that provide employees what they need when they get to the corporate mothership. I think there's a design language and brand language that is definitely being successful for some developers that's quite informal and playful. So if you look at the way the White Collar Factory has been positioned, the way that Alpha Beta has been positioned, the way that King's Cross has been positioned, there's something quite intimate in terms of how they address their audience, and it's very design driven, very bright, and an informality. So people always think that tech companies are drinking beer and wearing jeans. They're building very serious things in an informal way, and developers who speak to that kind of shared brand are being successful. And so the extent to which developers can move towards being brand lords and reflecting what the occupiers of the buildings want to be able to tell their staff and their clients is something that's working quite virtuously.